Now that we have some data to work with, we want to create a collection that we can use for loops and to perform some additional functionality. For the looping capabilities, PHP offers us an iterator interface, so we don't need to create our own. Often, when working with interfaces, you will use existing interfaces, such as the iterator. Besides the interfaces that are built into PHP, most frameworks include their own interfaces. These interfaces work as a kind of guaranteed documentation for using individual components. By combining multiple interfaces, we can build powerful components that can be easily understood by the rest of our application. Let's go back into our collection file. We're going to use implement iterator. This implements the built-in iterator interface. This implements keyword is how we specify that our class will meet the contract of a given interface. We add the name of the interface, and then it's up to us to implement the details of that interface's methods somewhere in this class. I mentioned that we can combine interfaces together to give our class more and more capabilities. We can do that by adding more interface names, separated by a comma. So for this example, we also want the collection to be countable, so we can add a comma and then the built-in countable. We'll use two properties: protected repo and a public collection. Then we'll set up a construct. On construct, we're going to pass the repo and optionally the ID and field if we want to limit our collection. We don't care where the data is coming from, but we do need to know that we can access the find and all methods that we set up in our repository interface. Type declarations, also called type hinting, allows us to require a specific type of parameter on a method call. Type hinting for classes and interfaces was added in PHP 5 along with arrays and callable. PHP 7 added scalar type hints. These are the basic variable types of Boolean, float, integer, and string. To specify that our first parameter must implement the repository interface, we specify the name of the interface before the parameter. Public, function, construct, our repository, interface, and then repo. Then we can add our optional parameters. ID equals null, and field equals ID. On construct, we first set the local repo, then we populate our collection. This repo equals repo. If the ID is not empty, then we're going to say this collection equals this repo find. We're going to pass posts, the ID, and the field. Else, this collection equals this repo all posts. Now we need to implement the methods from the iterator and countable interfaces.